Okay.
So call to order at 6:03, November 9th, 2020. Can we have a roll call?
Victor Peabody,
This is Dottie Durst.
Sean, are you with us?
I'm with you. Sorry, just unmuting myself.
Stuart Peasley? And we have a special guest, Jeff Gordon, tonight with us.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
hey Jeff,
Hi there. How are you?
doing good.
And so action on minutes, well, we've done the roll call. The appointment of alternates is not necessary. Action on minutes of previous meeting. The previous meeting, we have no outstanding items, I don't believe, because that was about community outreach, which is still in process. Advanced Connecticut activities are still pending. I've made a effort to contact, I forget her name now, Courtney Henrich, something like that. She's supposed to call me back tomorrow, but she's in charge with, she's the liaison with municipal activities, which I look forward to exploring what the possibilities are. We'll come around to that when we speak in a minute or two, but there are some enticing prospects. That's a great website if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Thank you so much for that, Dottie. And then Sean was going to look into the town inventory of potentially vacant buildings to see if there was some potential for repurposing. I've been looking into demographics and case studies, which are both included in that advanced CT website, incidentally. So that's a really good thing. New members search. I guess Tina has a potential that might be interested to join.
I have
And-
two people.
Great. And public forums and events. Those are on the old business agenda. Does anybody have any comments on any of those? I think we're still in, it looks like the COVID thing is spiking again. So the public forums is probably going to be off in the distance. Same with the events. But in that light, I think that we've got an opportunity to do some roundtable sessions if anybody's interested. I think those are very productive, and just talking about big ideas and what sort of opportunities might be available for us to look at. And I think that's critical, because I think, well, anyway, I won't share that for the moment, but does anybody have any thoughts they'd like to share?
Are you asking about old business?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think I'm good there. Thanks.
Dottie, how did you find the advanced CT website, and what do you think is its greatest potential for us?
It came to me at home. on my, on my internet. And I think, was it referred to us by Jay Swan? Is that how the referral got to us?
Oh, right, right.
Yes.
I think that's correct. And,
Mhm.
and the more the state of Connecticut wants to bring people into the state once the COVID new lockdown is lifted, Woodstock is in a great position to do that. Excuse me. Got all clogged up there just thinking about it. And we have things that we can highlight. We have recreation, we have outdoor activities, outdoor dining opportunities, even in chilly weather. Fun things to do that don't put families and people in danger. And I think we can begin to highlight those. And then during the holiday season, I think we'll be more limited. But come spring, we can, as a EDC, start to promote a trip to Woodstock can have all of these component parts: outdoor fun, dining, history, just even reading about history and then coming seeing it without actually like having to go inside of the Pink House. No, you don't have to. So I think we'll get some good ideas from that site.
And it has some interesting resources that I found were really great, because it not only is it geared for businesses, but also for municipalities. So it has several pages of case studies that I thought were very, very interesting.
Right.
And I've been wanting to pursue the case studies since getting on board here, because I think we need some references that might give us some guidance as to small towns like ours, what successful EDC protocols have been applied or implemented that we might learn from. And I think that's a great opportunity. So the main idea is that we've got an opportunity now to really do some intelligent planning, and that's going to be a great chance for us to make some progress when we do get things back opened up again. When we will be ready, and that should be our objective. Is now we can use this time to prepare well and get some protocols and some methods and practices that will be of benefit down the road. Tina, on the new members, how are they doing? They're lined up, or are they just sort of?
Well, I met with somebody that's been in our community for many years. I've known him for quite a long time, dealing with him on different projects. His name is Charlie Cady, and he's still, I think he would be a really good member. I was speaking with him about it, and he's definitely interested. He's got a lot of background in different things with business. And so I did email him out the application. I'm hoping that he would want to come on board. And I also spoke with somebody actually over the last week. I met with her today. She is new to town. She purchased the bed and breakfast at 880 Route 171. And her name is Andrea Trupa, and she's an attorney, and she's getting a home occupation to reside at this home and also have her law practice there, very small law practice. And she's lovely, and she's definitely very interested. She's just trying to get settled in first. But I got her hooked up for the Woodstock Business Association, and I think she'd be a really good fit as well. So
That sounds great. Yeah.
Yep. I'm always looking for people for the different boards and commissions,
Well, you're in the right place to do it.
Yeah. Not that I get to make those decisions, but pass them along to the proper authorities. And
It's great.
yeah, things are good. And as far as the home occupations, we've had a lot happening in Woodstock. So it's good to see people still, trying to open up, even smaller businesses. We have Cindy Sherman that just opened up a small little high-end gift shop on Route 169 next to South Campus. It's a home occupation, very small little boutique. She's had a soft opening over the weekend. So you'll see where that goes. I mean, she's aware that she may have to apply for a special permit if things get really busy there. It's always difficult with the small retail operations to see how it's going to go. So we have that happening, and I talked to her about economic development and, ribbon cutting. If, you should stop in. I stopped in over the weekend to see what was happening there, and it's a really nice setup. What else can I tell you? I went to that law office today. She's not quite ready, but she's going to have a small practice there. We have Orange Art is for sale on 169, and I had an inquiry about business, a different kind of business going in there, possibly something. So, that's promising. Trying to think what else is on my list here. We have, new applications coming in. Rusty Relic was approved through planning and zoning. So we're waiting on the Mylar to be filed. I know they're talking about ribbon cutting coming up. They're very excited about getting their business open at 599 Route 169.
Are they going to move their Coventry operation up to Woodstock?
Eventually, yes.
I just drove by that store the other day and it's pretty impressive.
It's going to take some time. They have a lot of work to do there. So,
So will it be in the back in the barn in the rear, or will it be in the house in the front?
at this time, it will be in the house.
In the house.
Yes, they're decorating each room.
Oh, I see.
And I think just the barn will be used for storage at this point.
So I think we sort of slid into new business.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry about that. We're into new business now, and we're talking about membership. The next item would be agency coordination. And I think that really, there's a tremendous potential for working with other commissions like planning and zoning, and to learn what are, or to not just learn, but to maximize our activities, maximize our potential. And that's sort of an education, at least for me, and maybe for others as well. But I think that the potential is going to be, giver's gain. You're going to maybe spend more time, but the results will be much more beneficial and productive. So that if we can synchronize with other agencies, and as well as I would like to, explore more with the roundtable sessions. If anyone's interested, if you just want to meet for a cup of coffee somewhere, I think those are really, really helpful.
I know I like those better, Stuart. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
We did it in the park the last time. That worked out good.
So I think the spontaneity of it is kind of good, and we're limited to what we can do with that, but at least it keeps the momentum alive, which is very important.
I agree.
So I was going to say, if anybody wants to do something Friday the 13th, that's an event. but the protocol is for creating a special meeting if we're actually going to formally do it. And I think that we need a few days notice for that. But other than that, informally, what is, Tina, is it 1 or 2 people that's allowed to meet informally? You
Yeah,
know-
I believe it's, two, if you go beyond the 2 people, it becomes a meeting. We'll have to ask Judy for an update on that. But I think it's, if you have more than 2.
So if there are 3
it's a
people,
meeting.
if it's a total of 3 people, that's considered a meeting?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Tina, can you let us know as soon as you get an answer from Judy about that?
Yep,
Um,
I
on
have.
paper, I'm sorry. On
I have the
paper, there's
Roberts
5
rules.
members.
Okay,
And we have a vacancy, of course.
Yeah.
And so half or more constitutes a quorum. So that means 2.5 people, or in this case, since, can't do 2.5 people, it sounds as though 2 is the correct number. That is not called legally a meeting, but we need to ask her if 3 is a legal meeting or not a legal meeting. So when you let us all know, because we don't want to mess up. If we all run
Right.
into each other at the coffee shop, we don't want to mess up by 3 of us being in the same place at the same time, if that's improper. Although we have learned from our training for the town attorney that people do run into each other, and that doesn't mean that business is being transacted. So, but anyway, would you please let us all know as soon as you find out?
Yes, I can do that.
Uh, The other things that I was looking into were demographics specifically, and I had very limited experience with demographics until about a year ago. I started I bought a subscription for a demographics website, and it is very dense and very well, if you like data and analytics of data, it's the thing that this website is incredible. I mean, it tells you how many people are wearing purple sunglasses, but the website Advanced CT, as well as other websites, have much more condensed or abbreviated versions of that demographical analysis. And it is something I would recommend taking a look at when you have a chance. But Advanced CT will have a menu that is by town in Connecticut. So you can click on any of the map designations for the town, and it just goes to a 2-page report, which is the abbreviated version. And, it's very interesting. I think you'll find that for our purposes in trying to facilitate and generate new business, it's helpful to know what our comparables are to other towns, what makes us unique through the data, through the lens of the data, not just our location and our history. So I think that the better we informed we are with that kind of information, it will help us in our conversations with potential business growth. And that, therefore, that's where I go back to the case studies. If you also look in, there's a menu there for case studies of different towns and what they're facing. Interestingly enough, I looked at one in Beacons Falls, and what this information provides is that there probably are some grants or monies available for economic development commissions. And that all of a sudden caught my eye, because I think that we've been working on the assumption that we only have a limited budget. And I think in our town, what we've got an allocation for $500 for the year, which is really not going to get us very far. So it's one of my thoughts to try and see where we can qualify for any grants, if they are available, for municipal operations such as ours. What kind of funds we would need, how we can allocate those funds to best promote business. What would be some of those things that are important for small businesses in Woodstock? Those are some of the rhetorical questions, and I would invite you to think about that as well. What is it that successful economic development commissions are doing that we can do? And it may come down to the fact that they are well funded and we're not. But if that's the case, then how do we look to attain some funding, if possible? So those are just some of the thoughts that I've been kicking around, and I was looking forward to being able to share that and see what you guys might think on that. If you have any experience with it, or any other insights, that would be great.
I think it's important to understand what the plan would be through planning and zoning. I know they're going to be working more on the planning aspect soon, and Jeff can speak on that. I think he's still there. And understanding what the big picture might be for the future and where the town is going with business, in order to know what this commission is going to be working on, to really partner up and understand what planning and zoning has coming up with addressing the regulations.
Would you like to chime in on that, Jeff?
Sure, I'm happy to. Hi, everybody. It's great to see an Economic Development Commission meet and do a lot of good work. I remember prior versions of the EDC many years ago that I had attended. So I want to thank all of you for doing the work. From a planning and zoning point of view, as you may know, over a number of years, planning and zoning has actually moved things in a better way for our local business community and for economic development, especially since for us on planning and zoning, we have legislative and administrative and quasi-judicial authority. So any regulations we put in place pertaining to businesses, that's kind of the law of the land, so to speak, for the town outside of a town ordinance, but planning and zoning doesn't go through town ordinances or town meetings. We've done an awful lot over the years. We've really streamlined regulations. We've had reasonable and common sense land use fees put into place. There's been a lot of big and small things we've been doing in the regulations. There's more that we have on our list, but we've gotten sidetracked this year because of the pandemic. And then we've needed to use a lot of our meetings to deal with some big business items, such as Rusty Relic got approved, and we're dealing with the Woodstock Country Store gas station proposal, which has been taking a lot of our time. But just to let you know, some of the things that we're going to be pivoting back to, hopefully come January. I spoke with the commission a couple of months ago to tell them that we need to get back to our planning meetings, which used to be the first Thursday of the month, and leave our business to the third Thursday of the month meetings. And so what we're going to pivot back to is a few what I think are important economic development items. One is we're going to re-look at agriculture. There's a number of agricultural regulations we need to actually put into place. We don't have regulations that really fully define how agricultural stores, such as the different farm stores that are popping up, can operate and give them guidance to expand and grow in town. So we're going to be working with the Ag Commission again on that, and would absolutely welcome the input from all of you with the Economic and Development Commission. We are going to be getting a look back at home occupations. I think there are some ways for us to improve some of the wording we have to make it clearer what is and isn't a home occupation, but also to not force a home occupation that gets successful and really needs a business permit. They have to now jump to a special permit, which is time consuming and very expensive. So one of the things I've been advocating for, my fellow commissioners as well, is allow different steps. So instead of making it a big special permit, perhaps we can allow growth via the regular type of simple business permit and try to encourage home occupations to become successful. Here, for example, we have a aquarium store, which is nice. I have a big fish tank, so I've been there, and it's in a renovated garage. It's a home occupation. Hopefully he'll become successful and he'll need to grow. And if we can allow a regular business permit to grow, that's cost effective and easy for a business. And it would encourage businesses to stay in town. Some of the other things we're looking at are better defining our mixed uses, such as commercial and residential. We have very little industrial in town. We're not really expanding that in the foreseeable future, but we have a number of commercial entities such as Rusty Relic. They needed a special permit to go from residential in that house to then incorporate a business. And I think there's ways for us to not have to have such a big process and have kind of a middle ground to allow a number of large homes that would be good for businesses and residential and try to encourage that. And that's something on our list. And we've looked into that some years ago, and we're going to pivot back to it in that regard. So that's something that's going to be, I think, will be very interesting for us to look at. When you're talking about demographics, the commission did take a look at a lot of demographics with regards to grow out analyses of the town. We did that through NECOG. And there's a lot of interesting data out there. I think a lot of people in the community think Woodstock isn't a good place for businesses to come in because they think it's going to change the character of the town. But we're not like Putnam or Killingly, where we're going to be bringing in a big, expand our industrial park or put in a big mall. We have limitations on the size of businesses that can go in, so we're not going to get them all. But there's huge numbers of businesses in town that people don't realize, especially a lot of small little businesses and home occupations. If we can encourage them to grow and stay in town, I'm hopeful our regulations can pivot to allow that to happen without costing tens of thousands of dollars and months and months and months of hearings. And the other thing that I've been an advocate for, and I'm hopeful will pass, is we require a lot of simple businesses to come before the commission. It takes 5 minutes. We review a lot of simple things. We're trying to see if we can streamline that to better use their time to work with Tina as a zoning enforcement officer. We have regulations that have to be followed, and not necessarily always have to have people come to a meeting and wait for us to get to their agenda items. So we're trying to streamline that process for very simple, straightforward things that really don't require a lot of heavy lifting to try to encourage things to be done. So there's a number of that type of stuff. And one of the things that I really would like to see what we can do is, I'm a big advocate of trying to make certain agencies can cooperate. I spend a lot of time as P&Z chair trying to coordinate with some other town commissions. I don't really need to with Board of Ed. We don't dovetail much with Board of Ed, but I do speak with the Selectmen, Conservation Commission, Board of Finance. I do speak with the Chamber of Commerce, of which I'm a member, Woodstock Building Association, Woodstock Business Association, of which I'm a member. There's a lot of different organizations and agencies we could be working with, and would love to have more of an opportunity to work with you guys. I'm mindful of the role that, a lot of the stuff that you guys recommend can be very helpful to us as we are working on regulations or need to update regulations. And again, our regulations are, so to speak, the law of the land as far as certain economic development things that have to be followed. So we would love to be able to, at any time, hear from you. I actually do read meeting minutes of various boards. So I sometimes will bring them to the commission and let planning and zoning know. So I've been unfortunately remiss in haven't attended your meetings much before, so I apologize for that. I'm going to try to make a renewed effort to attend as much as I can, because I would love to hear what you guys are talking about. And you're more than welcome to attend our meetings. And if there's an opportunity where you would want to speak as a commission to planning and zoning, let me know. We're happy to do it. Can certainly do that early in a meeting, so that way you guys don't have to wait some hours to get to the agenda item. But love to see what we can do to collaborate, because there's a great opportunity I think we have to continue to grow and support businesses in town. And the ways that we can work together to do that, all the better.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you. I think that there's a dynamic, there's a potential that both can really benefit from, and in that, what we're doing is creating a process. The process itself is going to really lead others into participating. And if it's a process that looks like it's got good energy and got that dynamic, then more people are going to be interested. So I think that's a good approach.
The one thing is, it's always good to remind people in the community what actually we talk about when you talk about economic development and economic development regulations, because a lot of people just assume, big businesses will come in and, suddenly we'll have big, gigantic box stores, Walmart, Target, we'll have shopping malls. We don't have infrastructure for that. They're not going to come here anyway.
Right.
I know last year I talked with a lot of people about economic development when I was running for re-election, and a lot of people just did not realize how many small businesses there are in town. Even in their own neighborhoods, they have no clue about some of the home occupations. And when they realize this stuff and the type of things I know that you guys are trying to promote, with local businesses and small businesses, it's really an eye opener for people. And I find they support it. And it's a good time right now because everyone is mindful of supporting local small businesses right now, given what's going on with the economy. So this is a good opportunity to really get the community behind these efforts. And the more they can understand what it is that's being done and feel they have a say in it, I find the better it is moving forward to be able to enact good, meaningful things to help the business community, including many other things, but we're talking about, economic development here. So again, would love to be able to, hear from you guys at any time. I think, us on the planning and zoning would absolutely welcome it. And, we don't have all the answers, so we would love to be able to hear any ideas, thoughts, things like that.
That's great. Sounds really good. I think that it's good to know the resources that are out there and be able to reach out and contact. And some of the questions might not have answers, but some of them might be very direct and quick. So that'll be great. Any questions for Jeff?
I'm good.
No questions, but thank you for coming on.
Oh, I'm more than happy. I welcome the opportunity. And
Well,
thank you again for all the work you guys do. I know it's volunteer, but thank you for doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's like this old saying that I read in a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's like you teach best what you most need to learn. So the same can be said for volunteering.
Yes.
So it gives back. It's good. So I guess we can move on to reports by members. And we can start off with Dottie.
Whoa, how come I have to go first?
It's just,
Well, believe it or not, I have actually made a written list because I have so many things to bring up. The first, probably some of you saw my email that went out just a few minutes ago. The owners of the Rusty Relic are predicting that on Friday, November 20th, they are ready to have their formal grand opening ribbon cutting. And so we'll want to see who among us can go, who will take the photo for the villager, who will write up the article. Tina, where is the ribbon stashed? Where are the giant scissors?
I have the scissors, I have the ribbon.
I knew you would be ready. And who will be the official representative of the EDC? Stuart, I'm hoping that you'll be able to attend. They have not yet told me what time. Maybe there's some flexibility. So in your schedule, you can say Jamie and Jason, this time would work okay for me on Friday, but not the rest of the day.
That sounds doable, sure.
Let's see if we can put that together. So that's pretty exciting because it's EDC's first chance to greet a brand new, it's not brand new business in town, but expanded business in town. And get an article in the paper. And in the article, it'll talk about the Rusty Relic and then go on about what is the EDC and what's it trying to achieve. Going to Jeff Gordon's comment a minute ago of what this EDC would like to try to achieve. And that, excuse me, members of the public, we need to get this out there, should not be scared because we are not all about development with a big capital D. So we're not out there recruiting box stores. Instead, we're going a different direction. So Stuart, if you can look at your schedule and let us all know for Friday the 20th and work with Tina, and then Tina, can you work with Jamie and Jason
Yes.
about what time of day will work for them?
Yes, I can contact the villager and let them know.
Okay.
And then-
I don't know if they have reporters that they're sending out anymore, but
Yeah.
right now I think my schedule is okay. I can attend and I can take a photo and I can write the article. So
Oh,
if
good.
the villager says, oh, good, we have a local reporter, we're trying to break in, we'll send our local reporter. That's cool. And the same thing, that means the photo would be taken and the article. And then secondly, don't forget about WINY. They are really good at coming out, bringing their microphones, interviewing people. So
Yeah,
same
good
thing. We can, if WINY can't send someone, then we can tape record. I have my recorder record Jamie and Jason in their grand opening moment in a sentence or two and just email it into WINY.
We could do a live Facebook post and have it on our page too, because we have an.
Oh, I forgot about that. Tina, you had said about that when we first started up as an EDC, but I had slipped my mind.
Yes,
So-
I keep adding to it, so I can handle that. for
Okay.
you.
So I have you down for a Facebook page, for
Mhm.
contact the villager.
Yep,
And Stuart, you look at your schedule, let us all know what time will work. And then if you work with Tina, Tina can work with Jamie and Jason to set up a time and let the rest of us know.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure, Sean, you're next.
Oh, wait, I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
I have a list.
Whoa.
The second one is something came by email, and I think I forwarded it to you guys, but I am not positive about the state support they're offering during the COVID crisis for small businesses. Did I forward that to you? I forgot the name of the program.
Is that Connecticut paid leave or something?
No, it's I'm going to make it up and say it's Connecticut Cares, but I don't think that's actually the acronym. But it's some kind of a financial support for small business. This would be like phase 2. The feds put out the same kind of program when the COVID was underway in the early spring. Now Connecticut's going to do something to support small businesses. So
It's similar to PPP.
all of our
It's a-
business community knows. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sean, what did you say?
It's similar to PPP. It's a $5,000 grant, as I believe it. I think it opened up this week for applications, if I'm correct on that.
I think
And
that
it's
all of
just,
the businesses in town got the information about it.
I'm not sure. I got it mostly through the Chamber of Commerce. I'm not sure if
Okay.
all the businesses
So
received it.
chamber members, Tina, do you know if or Jeff, you might know if members of the business association all received it?
I don't know. I believe it's the Connecticut Cares Program, the
Yeah, I
$5,000
know.
grant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I got
Um,
CARES right? Are you saying I got it right? Well,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know how the
Connecticut
EDC
CARES.
can move ahead. Okay, we need to make sure all of our small businesses know about it. So how we do that, how they already know, that's a function for EDC to take care of, which is, no bother, no money, no anything, just support for a small business community. Okay, and then the third
I'm
one.
emailing it out to you right now because I have it in front of me. I'll
Okay,
send it
great.
out to you. Okay.
My third point is the 2020 2021, what a weird thing to say, schedule for the EDC meetings, has that been prepared and did it get to the town clerk?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so is
So
it the
we're-
case?
We had a very good effort this week with Crystal, and I think we're all set for the next 14 meetings.
Okay, good.
13 meetings now.
Yeah, usually it's January through the following January. Do
So
we
so
have
I
to
think-
vote on it? Does it have to be part of our minutes? That's my question next.
Yes, it does.
Okay,
You're supposed to vote on it.
so Mr. Chairman, at some point you tell us when you would like us to do that, and we will make an appropriate motion and get that schedule approved. Tina, does it have to be done tonight?
No, we can do it at the December meeting.
Okay, because it has already been submitted, so we're not annoying the town clerk, right?
Yeah, you haven't, yeah, you have time to get that in. We can adjust it. We have time.
Okay, I don't, there's no point in delaying getting it in because it's going to be the same Monday of the month every month. Looking at the calendar, I'm sure somebody already determined that we're not going to meet on the Mondays on which there's a holiday on the second Monday of the month. So Stuart, if you would then put a place on the agenda for the December meeting, or right now tonight, we can approve it. It's your call, Mr. Chairman.
let's do it right now. Nothing better like the present.
So you're going with the second Monday of the month at 6 p.m.?
Yes, I make a motion that we will be meeting on second Mondays at 6 p.m. throughout the year of 2021.
And we need a second.
Motion.
Sean, was that your voice? Did somebody second it?
I think we both did it, but
Okay, I'm going to put Stuart made the motion and Sean seconded it. Okay.
Sure.
Second Monday, 6 p.m. for the year of 2021,
good
including
job, Sean.
Thanks, Vic.
January of 2020. Geez, that's really hard to say. I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, Mr. Chairman, call for the action on your motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? The motion passes.
Okay, good. So now it's just the detail of getting it actually submitted and we'll be all set on that. Those are the three things I wrote down that I wanted to be sure to bring up tonight. So thank you everybody for your patience on that.
Patty, it's excellent work. Thank you. Thank you for being prepared and helping us.
I can't help it. Jeff knows that, Jeff. I just can't help it. You know that, right? Tina knows it too. I can't help it.
Lucky to have you, lucky.
Very lucky. As we are with everyone, Sean and Victor, Tina. So it's really great. I like the energy of this commission. So, Sean, how about you? How are you doing? She's still with us?
He
Sean.
doesn't show on my screen.
Yeah, we looked like we've lost Sean.
Yeah, he might be able to log back in a second.
This is Crystal speaking. I don't see Sean and I don't see him in the waiting room.
Okay, maybe he just
Okay,
blinked out. Some people have poor service at their houses and he has to log back in. So we'll see in a minute if he comes back.
does that mean we have a meeting that's disqualified if we lose an attendee?
Nope, we're still here. Three of us are still here.
Okay. Victor,
I'm happy with what's going on. It's all good.
all right. Any thoughts? Anything that you'd like to see us be pursuing or?
I'm just with, like we talked at the last human meeting we had, was the barn thing. If we could get some help from somebody, but the barns, the Christmas store down the road. Like Putnam has the mills, we have barns. If we can get help from the state, maybe Jeff will know about that. If, you know what I mean? How the state helps the Putnam with the mills. If we can get help with the barns in here in Woodstock, that's what we have.
Isn't there a, Dottie, what was the barn tour
Yes, that's still a viable concept out there.
Well, the falling down barns, not the barns.
Oh,
that
isn't
are
that a
good now, the
shame?
ones that need help.
Wouldn't you think some builder, Sean, where are you? Wouldn't you think some builder would want that lumber? That's historic, broad board, wide board. You'd think somebody
Put
would
'em
go
back
and
up, not
disassemble
so
it.
much take them down, put them back,
Yes,
keep them where they are.
It's an eyesore, from one point of view, but it's a very valuable resource for the right person who wants the boards.
It's sad to see though, we should
Um,
stop.
Yes, some years back, I don't know, I think it was the Historic Properties Commission created a Woodstock barn tour. And they took photos and they did the history of the barns, and it's essentially an ag-based event. And then people could take the map and drive around and see all the barns, including going onto the property far enough in to be able to see barns not visible from the road.
Right.
Where could we get that? Do you know, Dottie?
Yes, a person who worked on it was Evelyn Cole Smith. And a second person who worked on it, I think, was Gail White from this Pink House. So Evelyn Cole Smith, I think, went out on her own as an architect. She's a Woodstock Hill, down Child Hill Road resident, and easy to find her. And
I just
one
saw
of
her
the-
today.
I'm sorry.
I just saw her today in
Oh, you did?
Putnam.
Okay.
Yes.
So it would be easy
Being a
to ask
builder,
the
the
one.
barns that are falling down, it's a shame to see what the work that went into each board and
Right,
joint and
right.
dowel that was banged. It's a shame to see them
Right.
falling down and rotting away.
Many of them are pegged.
Yeah, dowel peg.
So it's the architecture, the functionality first, of course, and then the unique designs, those all shapes and types. And so Evelyn or Gail White Usher would be able to say, we've got that, it's in a storage room over here in this building, and we can revitalize it, freshen it back up, and put the map out, because families can get in their car and drive, and maybe they would have a weekend in which, let's say in April, we could all drive into the farmyard again for those barns not visible from the road. Along a parallel note, have you guys seen the barn stars that are appearing around Woodstock? They look like a quilt square.
Mhm.
You seen them?
Yes. I haven't seen them,
Okay. What?
but I'll be looking now.
Yes, be looking. I saw 2 in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, several barns have been putting them up.
Yes,
They're very pretty.
and historic. And I don't know who's in charge of it, who's making it happen. What's the
I'd
name
like
of
to
the?
find out. I'd like to put one in my barn. I'll get involved in that.
I'll say you have a
That's
perfect
an awesome
location.
thing.
What's the name of the road that goes from the Four Corners, where the Eddy Farm is, where the farm stand is, backwards to Senexit Road? What's the name of that road? I think it's Doug Hill Road coming down from the north-south to the intersection. But at that intersection, I think it changes names. So anyway, if you kept
Doug Hill
going,
Road.
say it again.
Is it Payne? There's Payne.
Main District.
Road?
I am no.
Which- No.
So anyway, if you start at that Four Corners,
Mhm.
and you come south, the barn that has a beautiful quilt square on it is on the left, opposite a big field. And this one has pink and white and red squares, quilt squares that make the shape of a heart. So it's very timely quilt square too, because everybody's putting hearts out by the road. But I saw another one somewhere else, totally different concept. So somebody's out there doing it, and it is in some communities, it's a really important piece of history and culture, the farm community culture. And again, they make a driving tour. So people have the 10 places to stop and look at the quilt squares, and the handout tells about the square itself and the meaning of it and the colors and whatever. And then about the farm. So go back to.
I'd be very interested in, that'd be a good pursuit. I actually recently saw a barn. It's the only Shaker barn in the state of Connecticut. It's in Woodbury. And I didn't get a chance to go inside, but I did meet and talk with the owner who's been renovating it. But it's an octagonal barn. It's called a bank barn, which means it has 2 levels. But interesting thing is that one of the structural beams is a chestnut beam that's 40 feet long. That's outrageous. That's just
It is.
unheard of.
Yep.
But
that's-
How many more?
And
if
it
you ever
really-
get if you ever get a chance, it's down on the Southbury Woodbury line.
Okay.
Very
What do
beautiful.
you think that the Ag Commission might know anything about the barn squares? You think that somebody at the Ag Commission might know?
Good place to start.
I would
I want
say,
to do it. I'm gonna do it on my barn. I gotta get, I'll ask Tina to look, she'll figure it out, but I
would be
want to do
great,
that. on
yeah.
my barn.
That'd be great. You get to choose the square that you want. One of my favorites is, I don't know if you know a lot about barn squares or quilt squares, Victor, but one square by itself may not really communicate the message that the quilt itself, when it's all assembled, communicates, because the colors come together and then you see bow ties, or you see flying geese, or you see, whirlwinds. You can't see it in one of the squares, but all sewn together, the pattern comes together on the giant quilt with all the squares sewn together. But there's plenty of squares that are standalones, just like this Valentine one. Just one square alone, which has multiple parts, just gorgeous. And so, yeah, we will let you and Tina work on how to find a barn square for yours. And in the meantime, I have Stu Morris's email. I'll send him an email and ask him if he knows anything about it and who he would refer us to if we wanted to find out.
okay.
One thing, just to let you know, Victor, you may already know it, Connecticut has an official barn trail in the state. If you go to, and I think it's through the Office of Tourism, there is a designated barn trail. I don't know what type of barns and where they are, but it is there. They may actually have a resource as well, or be able to, I don't know what type of funds or grants or other ways to connect with them, but they can also be a resource to help if you're trying to promote barns and the tourism type stuff, which is, brings people into town. There is an official barn trail.
Oh, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, we should look into that. I will look into that. I'm a big fan of barns, but I was looking at, in fact, the Bruin barn at Woodstock Fairgrounds the other day, and they have their cupola is very unique. And if you look at the vents, it's not like anyone you've seen very often. So each one you might think is just a rectangular box frame, but they have some very unique details. And that again sort of attributes to the square that that's being applied now, the decorative squares. But that cupola, if you look at it next time, you won't see one anywhere like it.
I can tell you from personal experience, Stuart, I'm the treasurer of the Woodstock Fair.
Oh,
And when the fair needed to do some work up high, it is not easy to find craftsmen who actually know how to do that work.
Can do.
Because
it,
a lot
right?
of the people who nowadays don't do that work,
yeah,
or they buy products that are already done in a factory.
right.
Fair was able to find someone who not only, some local people who knew how it was put together, but if needed to do some fixing up there and taking things apart, they actually knew how to put it back together, and others had no clue, just because of that craftsmanship people don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
The
It's a
lost art.
phenomenal
My
structure.
my house is 1796. And if you go up in my attic, you got to come up, Stuart. You'll love it. It's art. It's beautiful. It's incredible. Just the bare beams.
Yeah,
They had to put plywood. They took the board, but the beams are still there. It's art to see what they did to build that house.
yeah, I love it.
But I hate to see the barns that are falling down. I'm seeing falling barns. I hate to see that. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's history. We're losing history.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. It is sad.
I just emailed out several things about barns and quilt trail brochures and Connecticut barns. And there's a lot of information that's available online.
Oh, great. Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome. It's a great idea. Really, it really addresses just the agricultural field and what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alive and keep alive. So I like it.
So I've got my homework we've got our homework. I wish Sean was still here. We could definitely use his assistance as well. If you see him or if you hear from him, or maybe I'll give him a call. But so we're going to be looking at 11/20, November 20th for the ribbon cutting.
Yep, I'll get some info on that.
The time would be good. I want to be there though. I was there for you were there too, the first one.
Yeah,
I want to be there for this one.
I think Jeff was there too.
Yeah.
Yes, I was there, and I'm looking forward if I can make it for the next one, because I can tell you from a planning and zoning point of view, we were very happy. I know I definitely was, that a business comes to town, grows, and then actually wants to stay in town.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So it's another win that
Yeah.
they want to stay and feel they can grow. And that's great. That's what we would like to be able to do, because as you know, too many businesses grow and then they just leave. So
Yeah.
I give them a lot of credit for staying. And I'm sure you've seen
Yes.
they're already out there with the bulldozers, getting things prepared up there with the extra parking and other stuff. They're
Yes.
doing some groundwork. The grading already, they started.
Yep. So that's great.
Jeff, if there was any recommendation for us as a commission from your point of view, since we've really just come out of a dormant stage, is there anything that you can suggest that we be looking at from your point of view that might be save us time? We're sort of like getting on our feet, and I think that it's a learning curve, I guess.
No, it always is. And I think you guys, I enjoyed hearing some of the stuff you've been talking about, because, you guys are certainly talking about a number of different things, letting the community know what's going on, trying to reach out to businesses, demographics, that type of stuff. I think that's great, because, it's not as if every type of business is going to come to Woodstock. We're not looking for, big, gigantic factories and things, businesses that need heavy infrastructure. But, we all understand what type of businesses, can work well here. And I think you guys are touching upon a lot of good stuff. One of the things I would love to hear more from, not tonight, but as you guys continue to delve into things, is think about things from a process point of view. I know I look at it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
A business wanting, why would a business want to come in to Woodstock? But if they decide to come in or to grow and stay here, what is the process they face? We've tried to streamline and improve the process from a regulatory point of view. Unfortunately, there are things that are out of our hands, especially various other regulations that have to be followed. But we would love on my commission to hear how things are from a process point of view, including feedback from businesses. Not the usual thing we hear, which is, I had to get a permit, which you can't open a business in the state without a permit anyway. But
Right.
There are process things we can do to move things further beyond what we've already done, which I think has been a lot in a good direction. So I think that would be a plus, because we want to make certain that if a business looks at Woodstock, they can view it not as a hurdle to try to come here. And so I would love to hear from you guys, understanding that certain regulatory things we have no choice, we have to go through.
Right.
Yeah.
But we would love to be able to hear, for a simple example, for sign permits, instead of a business getting a separate sign, Tina knows this well, and we charge like a $20 fee for a sign for your business, and the state charges $60 on top of the fee for your business permit that the state charges another $60. We merged it both together. So you want to open a business and you want your sign, it's all part of the application. So you don't pay extra for it, and you don't pay the state twice for the state $60 fee. So simple things like that. we've done and other big things as well. But, love to be able to hear from a process point of view, what you guys think to encourage appropriate businesses to come here and to grow here. Because we're very mindful of that as far as how we work out the mechanics of our regulations.
You
Jeff, I
had
like
one,
that you said a step and not a hurdle. I love that. I'm going to use that. Can I take that? We're a step process, not a hurdle
right.
process. I love that you just said that.
It's true. I mean, there are steps you have to go through, but I mean, Tina knows this well. She does a huge amount as a zoning enforcement officer trying to facilitate helping people. I know I do as chair of the commission. We're trying to facilitate helping people through the process. There's only so much we can do. They certainly have to do their fair share, but it is trying to encourage. And you're right, there are steps to go through that, I think different agencies can be of help. This was the first time in many years that for a business permit on the Rusty Relic, I think it was, we got correspondence from an Economic Development Commission,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
was great. That was good to see.
There you go.
I noticed it. I even
you
put it in
go.
the record that we got correspondence from the commission, because that's good. So that way, we hear and other commissions hear what you guys are thinking of and supporting the businesses. And it helps us when we need to be able to do what we can to facilitate things appropriately, to try to, line things up and be of help. So it all gets back to working together for the community. And the business community is an important part.
It is. And one big change that the planning and zoning did look at this past summer, was allowing existing buildings to even apply for a special permit if they didn't meet the setback requirements for non-residential. That was big. And I've been advocating for that for a long time. And that was really exciting for me personally.
Well, planning and
Yeah.
zoning works in mysterious ways. There's a lot of stuff that gets done behind the scenes to line up various support for different things. But it is some of these little things that you talk with people and they're like, that's just kind of dry, boring stuff to some people. It makes a big difference whether or not we can allow some of these old, beautiful residences that businesses will look at. Otherwise, they just sit there and they do nothing.
Right.
So a business comes in, uses the building, maintains it. There's additional tax revenue the town gets anyway. It's a plus. So, and some of these businesses do hire locally and contract locally. So there's all these little things that we try to look at to see what we can do to be a help. What Tina mentioned was an important thing. It's a little thing that's buried at God knows what page in the regulations
Mhm.
in like one couple of sentences. But that's something that's there that we're able to use to encourage businesses to go into certain locations. So something as simple as that opens up some nice doors.
Mhm.
And if potential businesses know that there's ways we can work through the steps and that they're not hurdles, then I think they'll look at Woodstock a second time.
Yeah.
And when they start realizing, and that's where you guys can come in tremendously. It's not really for planning and zoning to do some of that push, but like economic development, there's certainly tons of wonderful opportunities that you guys can do to be reaching out, working with the business community and other businesses that could potentially, come in. And then for us from the regulatory and administrative points of view, then, we do our job. And then I kind of view it as a continuum of working with economic development. And we also have a very active, as you know, Woodstock Business Association. Tina knows this. It's actually great. That's wonderful to see. That's another aspect for helping the small, businesses that we can all do our part in interplay. So I agree with you, Victor. It is what we can do to help with the steps, not with the hurdles.
Yeah.
But I'm stealing that one from you, Jeff. I'm going to steal that statement. Steps, not hurdles. I love that. That's good.
Sure. You may not want to give me credit because there's some people in town who decide they want to throw things at me. But other than that,
I'll take all the hits. I'll take the hits.
oh, good. I'll stand behind you next time.
Well,
So-
that means you're being effective, Jeff. If nobody was throwing anything, then you weren't be doing your job.
Well, the thing I've learned very well in this town is that if people in town really are unhappy, like when we could have town meetings and people are unhappy about something, they would fill town hall and be spilled out in the parking lot and they would let you know. But if the vast majority of people aren't complaining to you, then you have to be doing something right. Because otherwise they don't feel that there's a problem they need to come out and tell you about. But that's a nice thing about a town like this is people clearly will let you know their opinion one way or the other. And if you let them know what's going on and they feel that they can communicate then and have a say when they want to, then it really facilitates a lot of work. I've just been amazed by the number of people who really don't understand what small business community means in Woodstock. I keep on having people tell me, oh, you're going to let in the businesses like Putnam has or Killingly Commons. And I'm like, that's not a small business for Woodstock. So, there's still a lot of people that just don't know what it means. So I think that's a great thing that you guys can be doing is, out there letting people know what economic development really means. And it's not going to mean that we're going to be destroying the town.
Yep, good point.
Yeah, I think it's having that frame of reference to be able to understand, well, fortunately we don't have a big thoroughfare going through and that would change everything. But we're in the times of big change now, and we'll see what happens. But I think there's going to be more people leaving the cities, and they're looking for places like Woodstock, and what that's going to have is, we're going to be facing the changes that come with it. So,
Well, a lot of more home occupations, a lot of service-oriented businesses.
Yeah.
Tina sees it.
Absolutely.
And that's nice. I mean, people can do it in their houses. They can, do whatever and without huge infrastructure. And if they can be successful with it, that's wonderful. They don't always need to be putting tons of signs up to advertise themselves. I mean, you're seeing a lot of that stuff now. So I think that's a great opportunity for a place like Woodstock that can easily fit into people's homes and other places and be able to thrive here. And, it all then does feedback. The town does get some tax revenue out of it and diversifies the tax base other than just relying upon personal property tax of, residential property.
Right. Yep, it's helpful. I think Crystal has to sign off. I think she's messaged me saying, asking when we were going to be completed.
I got hello, this is Ethan, Crystal's son.
Oh, hi, Ethan.
I joined on my iPad and I'm the host.
Oh, okay, great.
So you
Thank
don't
you.
have to stop right now.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
thank you. Okay, so are there any other reports by members or items that we need to discuss?
I'm good.
Communications. Anything else coming in, Tina?
I mean, the biggest thing is trying to arrange for ribbon cuttings and, Rusty Relic, possibly arranging one for for Cindy Sherman, Black Walnut Farm gift shop. She had talked about having a ribbon cutting. I mean, that would be something before we get into winter.
I'm in. I'm all for it. Pick a day.
So I'll just email everybody out once I can, get that going.
I was looking at the calendar today. We only have 7 weeks left in 2020.
I know, hard to believe.
So
Speaking of which, Mr. Chairman, is our next meeting going to be on Monday, December 14th?
absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in the minutes. That
Yep.
way members of the public who glance at the minutes will be able to see the next scheduled meeting and put on their calendars.
Cool.
Are there any bills or anything that we have to address?
Not at this time, nothing that I have. I may have to buy more ribbon though, if, that's the only thing that might be happening. I've got to look at what we have left. So that'll come out of the budget, but I'll email you.
I think we should be
That's a
pretty
good
good
thing.
shape. Pretty good shape with the budget though, right? We're,
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
they're really, yeah, definitely.
okay, so we don't have any citizens' comments, I guess. Then we need a motion for adjournment, unless anybody else has anything to bring up.
I'll
Go
make the motion for adjournment.
Thank everyone for being here tonight. Is there a second? No second?
In
I
order to
sec-
second it, I have to unmute myself, sorry.
Okay.
This is Dottie, I'll second the motion.
Okay, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. So we're good. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much, everyone.
One
Thank
more
you.
second,
Bye,
Stuart.
Jeff.
Were you
Yes,
thinking
Dottie.
about scheduling a brainstorming session? Were you
Oh.
thinking about doing that? You're gonna wait till after the holidays? I don't know if it matters to other people. It does not matter to me.
I don't, I'm flexible. If anybody wants to meet on Friday, maybe that's too soon.
After the ribbon cutting.
We could do that. Well, let's do it November 20th.
Yeah, let's target November 20. We'll see who can attend, and and now if we all know that we would have enough to constitute a quorum, we can just call it a special meeting and get the agenda posted. On a
Sounds
special
good.
meeting, you only name the one thing they're going to talk about. One
Okay.
or two things. So all the rest of the agenda just disappears. For a special meeting, you identify the one or two things you're going to talk about, and that's it. And it's
Sure.
easy, short. You can get it filed in plenty of time.
Okay. Good to know.
November 20.
Then I guess that's it. We'll call it a end of the meeting, and we'll be in touch for a potential special meeting at 11:20. 11:20.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
11:20.
And thank you, Ethan. You're still there. Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
All right, I'm going to stop recording and end the meeting.
That's it. Thanks now.